ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। निरञ्जनं नित्यमनन्तरूपं भक्तानुकम्पाधृतविग्रहं वै निरञ्जनं नित्यमनन्तरूपं भक्तानुकम्पाधृतविग्रहं वै ईशावतारं परमेशमीड्यं तं रामकृष्णं शिरसा नमामि. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who is adored by all, pure, eternal, infinite by nature. Out of His infinite grace on the devotees, the Divine Supreme has assumed a human form in the form of Sri Ramakrishna. Let us bow down to Him. Let us try to dwell upon the personality of Sri Ramakrishna. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who came to establish religion universal. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic I have chosen: great teachings. We need lot of teachings every now and then, because we tend to go wrong most of the time. But then the Mahatmas are so compassionate. They want to serve the humanity with utmost love and compassion. So they undergo suffering to any length of time in order to save the people from sufferings and miseries in life. But the point is, the fault lies in us. We don't give proper attention or seriously think of correcting our behavior. So, even though they are very loving and compassionate, we still continue to suffer more and more on account of our foolish, idiotic, treacherous egoism. So, we must be open to learn, become wise Simply intelligent is not enough. Intelligence must be transformed into wisdom. There are so many intelligent people in the world, Pandits, but we don't have any use of these Pandits. Rather, we are very grateful to people who are full of wisdom. So, the relevance of the teachings of the masters is very important for us. At least those who are really, seriously, sincerely want to get rid of this mesh of sufferings, they do give attention to practice of spiritual ideas in life. Practice. Without practice, you will get nothing. Please note that point, very important point. You may hear millions of lectures. Throughout the world you may be traveling, going to all pilgrims centers which you like. You can visit so many varieties of Mahatmas springing up every alternate day. Still, if you are not properly guiding yourself, you will be benefited by nothing. It is just like having the holy Ganga nearby and still feeling highly thirsty. So, teachers give their teachings, but we should little bend our egoism and learn. Try to think, I know nothing. Then you will know everything. Try to seek nothing. You get everything. Don't seek greatness. Greatness will pounce upon you. That's the secret. Anyway, as I'm always keep telling, all the scriptures have declared, all the Mahatmas, Sri Ramakrishna has declared, the whole creation is simply the game of the divine Lord. That's all. If you understand this one line, you'll be uplifted to a great extent. So, we have come here to play our part. Play the part properly. And there are so many infinite roads are there for so many things. But the most precious gem is there amidst all this great confusion in this world. And that great gem is Divine Supreme Lord. But He is ever graceful, showing His invisible grace. He blesses us all the time. All the time. But you will realize it only if you practice spirituality little bit. So, you must have these ideas in your mind. There was once a painter. He would paint the paintings, he would paint the idols of gods and goddesses. And after completing the paintings, he was very anxious to show them to his father. But his father was very shrewd, full of wisdom. He wanted to correct the defects of the son. He wanted to see how his son improves in his character. So the idea of father is to make him perfect as much as he could. So when the son would come and show his painting, which he thought he has done very well, the father would, after seeing it, would say, not very good, it needs improvement. He has spent whole time, he has spent days and days to make the good painting, but the father is telling, not very good, it needs improvement. That's all his comment. So the boy would go and improve the painting, and then again he would come to show to his father. But then the father would again say, the eyes are incorrect, improve them. Sometimes he would say, the heads need correction. You have done good paintings, no doubt, but little corrections are there, they are to be attended to. One day, the son began to think himself, well, how many times I am working on the paintings and trying to improve to the best of my knowledge, still my father is not satisfied. Always he tries to scold me. So what he did was, one day he painted a beautiful idol of the Lord, and then what did he do? He did not show it to the father now. He buried it in the ground. After a month, he dug it up and said, Father, please come here. I have found this idol hidden in the ground. He showed the murti, the idol, and asked, Father, what do you think of this idol? His father praised, very good, very good. You should paint like this. His son immediately said, Oh father, I have really painted this murti. When he heard that his son has done the painting, do you know what the father replied? My son, from now on, you will never improve. I used to scold you about your paintings. Why? So that you would always try to do better. Your brush won't improve beyond this point now, he exclaimed. The enlightened teacher, the Guru, scolds us only to carry us forward. Therefore, never feel badly towards the master who teaches you. That's the way how this incident teaches us a lesson. So scolding has got its value. But as I said earlier, we must take it coolly and try to improve the character. That's the way it should be. The whole world is constantly teaching us. Do you know the fact? Constantly, every moment, we are being taught. Still we are behaving in a very foolish way because of our too much of impurities locked up in the mind. Anyway, there is no way of simply crying and grumbling. Oh, there is a lot of dust in this room. True, it goes on increasing. What is the wise way to do? Take the vacuum, clean the room twice, thrice, four, even if it needs 6 times, do it 6 times. That's the way. So our mind is full of all types of impurities, not one, millions of impurities. Do you think simply God will come and dance before you? Never think like that. Unless you keep your mind clean, you will never be able to see God. It's simply hallucination. It's simply dreaming. No. Spirituality means practical way of living the life. Be practical. That's what Sri Ramakrishna used to say. Swami Vivekananda used to say, ounce of practice is necessary than tons of talk. Ounce of practice. How there is great value in these teachings. We don't pay any attention to do practice, and we want to improve upon the life. We don't want to have holy association. We don't seek spiritual teachers, but we want to improve. Do you think it can be done by magic? No. Even magic fails, I tell you. You have to make up your mind to improve. Then only it's possible. Otherwise, no progress, no forward. That's why Swami Vivekananda used to say, you have to blame yourself for anything that happens, good or bad. It comes to that point. So, every individual is responsible for one's own deeds, one's own thoughts, one's own behavior, one's own actions. That determines the destiny. That's why Swami Vivekananda used to say, you are the master of your own destiny. Please read that in Swami Vivekananda's works. Tremendous teachings are there. Tremendous. So the more you read these great teachings, the more humble you should become. That's the way we judge upon the people. If you show your egoism, even though God wants to come near you, He runs back. Even God runs. He can't tolerate egoism. Anyway, so we should not have hurt feeling or humiliated when the teacher scolds us. So it depends upon how you cherish your devotion towards the Guru. Don't apply your worldly ways of dealing with the teacher. Whenever you approach the teacher, you have to come with a prepared mind. I am going to see the teacher. I must not be irresponsible. So I must be truly devoted. So these ideas must be in your mind when you approach the Guru. Then you will see how wonderfully you develop your character. holy company, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, and all the great teachers, all the incarnations, Lord Christ, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everybody says the greatness of holy association. You yourself will know. The more and more you be in touch with the bad type of people, the more and more you tend to become bad. On the other hand, if you try to be in the company of good, in course of time you tend to become good. So, you have to be careful, undoubtedly. So this human life is to be looked upon with so much of respect and reverence. Not living a life in a very haphazard way, criticizing others, blaming all people, becoming more and more selfish. The more you come in contact with people who are utterly worldly, you also become utterly worldly. What do you mean by utterly worldly? Utterly selfish. That's the test. A person who is selfish is called worldly. A person who is not selfish is called spiritual. So you have to judge yourself. Am I spiritual or am I worldly? You have to judge yourself. You have to test yourself. Anyway, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, very great incarnation, was born in Bengal. He made a revolution in the bhakti movement. He used to conduct Nagar Sankirtan. He would gather the people and begin to sing God's name with all musical instruments, with tabla and other things, with khol. Singing and singing, going across the road, drawing the attention of the people. The people would come out from the homes and would be charmed by the singing of this group led by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Once he was conducting Nagar Sankirtanam in Navadvip. So many leaders of the town also joined in his bhajan. They were all ecstatically singing bhajans and walking along the streets. Well, in that group, a thief also joined. Thief. Somehow, he joined the group. He thought his idea is different. Not that he has come in touch with holy association and he will become a Mahatma. Not that. The thief, what his idea would be? To steal only. Is it not? The tendency to steal, it provokes him. That's why you have to be very careful what tendencies you are building up in your life. If you are too miserly, you become utterly hopeless. So, if you always cherish the angry moods, becoming anger every now and then, you try to become worst. And you don't know what type of crime you commit. Anyway, all sorts of things you can understand by reading the everyday newspaper. Has got all this news about how mother kills the son, how son kills mother. Chi, such a wretched crimes are being conducted now in modern days. In the most civilized country in America. What to speak of other countries. America is considered most civilized in the whole world. Read the newspaper every day. Mother killing the children, children killing the mother, wife killing the husband, husband killing the wife. Not rare occasion. Every day in some part of the country is going on, murdering. Anyway, you have to wake up yourself. Please note that point. You have to wake up yourself. You have to be determined to make your life good. Then only it is possible to improve. So this thief, he joined the group. He thought it would be a good opportunity for him to pick the pockets of the rich devotees who would be lost in singing and dancing. That was his idea when he joined the group. But what happened? When he actually participated in it, he began singing with more zeal than others. All of them had come to a temple and were seated. But this thief sat near Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while those sitting in front were listening to his discourse. Many had left the temple precincts by then. This thief caught hold of Chaitanya's both feet and said, "Dear Swami, you are giving so much advice to so many people. Kindly impart to me some sacred mantra so that I am uplifted." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at him and said, "Well, tell me first of all who you are and what you do. Introduce yourself." The thief said, "Oh Swami, how can I lie to you? I am a thief. I have been a thief all my life. My name is Rama. People call me Rama the thief." Chaitanya said, "See, these great masters have got tremendous insight and they know how to teach even the most wicked man. Even that's why Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, "Apachetsu duracharo bhajate mam ananyamak sadhuseva mantavyaha samyak vyavasito hi saha." Even though a person is committing heinous crimes, if by chance he comes to adore me, worships me, he will be uplifted. All his sins will be washed away. Sri Krishna's assurance in Bhagavad Gita. So don't condemn yourself and put a label, "I am dirtiest person in this world." Putting that label will not purify you. So take to the take to the practical aspect of life. Yes, be honest. I have done a mistake. Let me correct it properly. That's all. There the matter ends. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "What a pity." Then he said, "Well, you are asking me for a mantra so that you can be purified, you can be transformed into a good person." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Well, I shall give you a mantra. But what will you give me as Guru Dakshina?" Guru Dakshina. People should know the purpose of offering Dakshina. People think their whole money is lost in giving dakshina. Giving dakshina teaches you to be generous. You want all the things done to you and you don't want to give anything in return. And there are people who do like that. They come, they take all the benefits, go away, enjoy the benefits and go. People are there, different nature, exploiting. Why should you do that? You should ask yourself, I am going to a person, I am going to a place, I am utilizing the place properly. Should I not do something for the place? Why do you think somebody else will do? Who is that somebody? You are also one of the somebody, is it not? Why don't you think you are also part and parcel? So what is your contribution to the place which you are using? That nobody thinks. But they want all things to be done. That won't work. So the spiritual teacher says, God gives you opportunity so that you can improve yourself. If you are not improving yourself in a volunteer way, then God will force you to improve. That forcing you to improve yourself comes through suffering. Of course, there are some people who do not learn even through suffering. There are cases like that. But you should know that there is no end of suffering so long as you don't learn. If you learn, then there is end of suffering. Suffering comes to burn your sins. Mother used to say, Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi used to say, sufferings are blessings in disguise. Take it in a good spirit. Be heroic. Namby-pamby will not do. So, you have to persevere. You have to be forceful to turn the mind towards spiritual. Anyway, here he is telling, give me what Guru Dakshina you are offering to me. The thief at once said without any hesitation, I shall give you a share in the booty I get from a theft. That's the Guru Dakshina. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, see, there are great teachers, not like foolish people like us. They know how to turn even the most wicked man into good. They know how to do it. So when the thief offered that he would be ready to share half of the booty, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately said to him, well, I have no need for any money. All that I insist is that you should give up stealing. The thief said, oh Swami, that's my profession. How else can I earn a living? When I do not have any other skill, I don't have any other skill except stealing. Well, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, I shall give you a sacred mantra on one condition. When you go for stealing, this condition is, first you must recite the sacred mantra which I give you 1008 times. That's the condition. Then you go. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu whispered into his ear. He gave the mantra. This is recorded in his life, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu life. He gave the mantra to the thief. What the mantra he gave? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's the mantra. Transformation even by then had taken place in the thief. Even on the day of hearing this mantra from the great master like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even that very day itself he felt a kind of improvement in his life because of the touch of the holy person. He had touched the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was also freed from the sin of his past deeds because of the conversation with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The thief went back almost a transformed person. He felt in himself a change which he could not explain. One day, many wealthy people, families, had locked their houses and they had gone. Where did they go? They went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The thief thought this is a great opportunity to steal. He did not want to lose this opportunity to break into a house. He went to the house of the richest man of the town. He broke into the house, entered the room where the iron safe was kept. The people used to keep ornaments, everything, treasures in the iron safe, olden days. Nowadays they keep in the bank. So he went there, he opened it and saw valuable gems and jewels of gold. But then the condition Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given to him before stealing, what he should do? He should repeat Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 1008 times before he steals. He has to fulfill that condition. He has promised. See, that idea of promise is there in him. I have promised the teacher, I have agreed for that condition. So let me quickly repeat 1008 times the mantra. So he began to start right then. So while he was just counting the mantra, 1008 times is not a small number. And moreover, the mantra is too long. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And you have to keep counting also number also correctly you have to count. Anyway, so while he was just before completion of the mantra, the master of the house returned back with his family. The lady of the family wanted to remove all the jewels she had worn before she left the house and keep them back in the safe. But then she saw a stranger. But what did she see? He was lost in recitation of the sacred mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He has closed his eyes and repeating the mantra. Because he was concentrating upon the number, At the same time he has to properly pronounce the mantra also. So his whole mind was focused at that point of time on properly reciting the mantra number of times. So in that process he lost. His whole mind was focused on that. She thought a great man. He's repeating Vasudeva's mantra. He must be a great sage who had come to their house to bless them. The lady thought that way. She called her husband. The thief was lost in his meditation. The entire family sat around him with folded hands. They thought he must be a great soul like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After some time, the thief opened his eyes. After the completion of 1008 times, literally, he was surprised to find a group of people sitting in a most reverential way before him. The master of the house asked him, "Sir, may we know who you are, and may we request you to honor us by accepting the food which we want to give you today, so that we will be purified of our sins?" The thief said to himself, if the mere recitation of the Lord's name now and then can bring me such honor, what greater things cannot happen to me? If I sincerely make it my daily habit of reciting the name continuously, I may certainly win the grace of the Lord. So, this was his firm conviction. He learned that lesson on that particular occasion. He decided to give up thieving. He prostrated before the master of the house and his wife and said, "Mother, let me tell you the truth. I am a thief. Now, let me go to the forest. I shall spend the rest of my life in the contemplation of God." All were surprised at his words, but they were very happy to see how this thief was transformed. He stayed with them as their guest that night. The news of this event spread fast around in the morning. As a result, the whole neighborhood came to see him. See how much honor he is getting. Just because you simply repeating God's name 1008 times, and this created a miracle in his life. Do you know what this neighborhood they did? They took him in a palanquin round the town, led him to the forest where he wanted to do tapas. They didn't allow him to even walk. Later, once again, this thief who got transformed in his life came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and received his blessings so that he may blossom into a real sage. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greatly pleased how there was sincerity even in this thief. He did remember the condition that he should recite 1008 times the God's name before he starts stealing, and how he did that, and because he fulfilled the condition prescribed by the master, he was saved. And this is not a fiction, please note that, not a story, concocted story, no. Drama in real life. So, mantra has got the tremendous effect, tremendous power. But we don't pay any attention to that. We take initiation, next day it's over. We think we have become spiritual. I have seen people who, after taking initiation, sometimes become more worldly than ordinary worldly people. because they think they have become already spiritual and began to behave in a artificial manner. Then this is the thing what happens. So never entertain such false ideas in life. The more you are spiritual means the more you must become selfless. The more you must become egoless. Crush your ego. Be more and more humble. Don't claim I am PhD. I have got 2 PhDs in America. I am so and so. Who cares for your PhD? You may have 1000 PhD. What does it matter? It is nothing but a straw. So, you must have, the more you have PhDs, the more humble you should be. That's the way. That's why spiritual life appears to be difficult, but it is simple. Simple when you are sincere. Difficult when you are insincere. That's the point. You must have known the great Saint Tukaram, one of the great saints India has produced. It is said he was so great, a special chariot came to take him into Vaikunta. In his mortal frame, generally the mortal body cannot go to the heavens. They require a special body. But in this Tukaram's case, it was done. Such a great person he was. There are lots of incidents in his life which you please read the life of Tukaram, you will understand how really he was very great. So, his method of practice is doing bhajans. There is tremendous power in singing bhajans. The simplest and most effective spiritual practice is doing bhajans. Can you not do that much in your home? You may not be able to concentrate. You may not be able to do worship. You may not be able to do austerities. Is it difficult to do bhajans? It is possible. Only you should apply your mind. Finally it comes to your mind. So you behave as your mind dictates you. You should reverse the process. Mind should behave as you dictate the mind. That's spiritual practice. It will give a lot of reasons. Oh, today I can't do bhajan, I have to attend the party. So party takes priority to do your bhajan. That means worldliness overpowers you. I can do bhajan afterwards. What is there? It's not necessary I should do every day at 6 o'clock. Today I will do at 7 o'clock. That means you are breaking the discipline. No. Spiritual life means life of discipline. If you break the discipline, you are disqualified as a spiritual person. You claim to be great, you claim to practice spirituality. Do you follow the regular spiritual discipline required? Not very complicated disciplines. Disciplines such as attending morning arati, waking up early morning, coming 5 o'clock to the chapel and attend the arati. Is it so difficult? Is it so difficult not possible for you to do? Go to sleep early, get up early. It is as simple as that. Don't give reasons. Don't give reasons. So, First of all, discipline. Be ready to follow the discipline. Then you are qualified as a spiritual aspirant. If you are not ready to practice discipline, you are simply thrown out of spiritual life. Discipline is the first step in spiritual life. Anyway, so Tukaram was very great singer and good in bhajans. One time, what happened? Some kids came to Tukaram. Some kids. They were little mischievous. Generally, the teenagers are no. The teenagers are always mischievous. It is not their fault. It is the age that counts. Because some people, even when they have become grown up, they behave like teenagers. There's different class of people. Anyway, so they came and told Tukaram to sing some fag, some kind of song. Tukaram refused. So what did they do? They were mischievous, So these kids, they grabbed him, grabbed Tukaram and shaved off the hair from his head. They completely shaved the head. Then they did not keep quiet. They painted his head with white lime. As if this was not enough, they sat him backwards on a donkey and gave him the donkey's tail to hold. They garlanded him with a garland made of carrots and brinjals. Then what? Then still they are not satisfied. They were in a group, big group they had come. Just to tease the Tukaram they had come, And Tukaram was a great saint. Anyway, he was not disturbed by these mischievous tendencies of these kids. And then they took him all around the village, shouting and making fun of poor Tukaram all the way. Great fun they were making. Shaving the head and doing all sorts of things. If anybody were in that position, would have collapsed, would have got heart attack. But Tukaram remained calm. When Tukaram's wife saw this, she became very sad. She burst into tears. But Tukaram said to her, see how the saints behave. That's a great lesson for us. He said to his wife, Tukaram said to his wife, why are you crying? What wrong has been done? And then he explains, my hair was long, I did not have the money to cut it, so the kids cut it free of charge. See how he looks, how he interprets. And also, I have dandruff, but now the time will cure it. The lime paint, the lime is antidote for the dandruff. The lime will cure it. And he told his wife, when we got married, did we have a procession? Generally in marriage they will have procession, We didn't have, no. So we had it today. See how he interprets. Plus, the vegetable garland will do as food for a few days. Tukaram was very, very humble. Very humble. Any other person would have been greatly insulted. He tolerated everything. And now the whole Maharashtra state in India, they sing the praises of Tukaram and Janabai. See how the spiritual teachers show us, not simply by talking, not simply by giving sermons, but through their practice. If you practice what you teach, your teachings become alive. If you don't do that, they become boredom sermons. Just like putting a tape recorder, it plays on. That's all. There it ends. It will have no effect upon the person who listens it. No. Precept and practice must go together. Sri Ramakrishna always used to say, you must practice what you have learnt. That's the way. And one more incident I will tell you and close this topic. Great teachings. Once upon a time there lived a rich man. But, I don't know why it should be. Generally speaking, they become miserly. The richest man becomes most miserly. Not all. Majority. So he would never spend even a single dollar, and he never donated even a single cent. And this is the extreme case, of course. Not only that, he would always wear worn shoes and not giving much attention to what he wears, clothing. One day, he fell seriously ill. Everybody has to fall sick, one day or other, to pay the tax for what we have done. The tax is in the form of disease. Anyway, some people, it is very hard for them to assimilate this idea. So, she became bedridden. During his whole life, it was said, he had only one friend, his personal tailor. But unfortunately, he had died a few months earlier. Everyone knew the rich man's days were numbered because he was bedridden, any day he may pass away. One by one, his family and neighbors came to pay their formal respects. Then the tailor's son came to see him. Then the rich man said, well, he said to the tailor's son, it seems that I will not last long here. My moment to rise to heaven has come. The young kid, though only 15 years old, he had developed wisdom. He knew of the rich man's craving for wealth, and he knew about his miserliness. So this kid replied, sir, because this son's father, tailor, he had already passed. So he said to the rich man, sir, my father is already in heaven. He often told me that he wished to sew rich garments for the Lord. But he forgot to take his needle with him when he went to heaven. Will you please take this needle with you and give it to him, because you are going to heaven, Will you please take this needle? Oh, all right. I will be happy to do that, he agreed. Then the Seth was happy to do anything as long as it did not involve any giving from his side. He took the needle. Somebody is giving, only has to give it to the person in the heaven. He took the needle and gave the boy permission to leave. Alone in his bed, this rich man began wondering, where shall I place the needle? Pin it in my shirt? No, that won't do. All my clothes will burn away in my funeral fire. In my mouth? Yes, I will place the needle in the bulge of my cheek. Then again he had second thoughts. But my whole body will be burnt into ashes. How am I to carry this small needle to heaven? The more he thought about it, the more confused he became. Finally, he called the tailor's son and said, "My dear son, please take your needle back. I won't be able to take it to heaven." But the boy looked amused. If you are going to carry all your millions of dollars to heaven, then why can't you carry one little needle? The rich man's inner eyes were opened. He realized that none of his wealth or property would accompany him after death. He prayed to God to forgive him for all his past wickedness and promised to profusely donate his wealth in charity should he survive the illness. God cured him and he kept his word. And this rich man built a grand mandir for God. He fed thousands of people and comforted the less fortunate people. Remember that only wealth which is spent in the service of God, in the service of his Guru, in the service of the needy, is worthwhile. Our good deeds alone accompany us after death, and nothing else will join us. So, we should be really cautious about what we do. First, we should be cautious about what we think, because thinking becomes action. So, as you think, so you will be. So, think of the divine, organize your thoughts in the mind, replace the bad thoughts with good thoughts, try to translate them in good actions, be conscious of everything what you do, and that's the way one should improve one's life. Not blaming upon anybody, not criticizing anyone, but always trying to learn lessons and follow the teachings of the great masters. Thank you very much.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. May the Divine Spirit protect us, guide us, give us strength and right understanding. May we not hate one another. May love and harmony be with us all. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. May the Divine Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we work in harmony with great vigor. May our study be illuminating and fruitful. May we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.